I spent months researching and writing a book on the longest living communities on Earth. I could recite the data in my sleep, but knowing the facts didn't equate to living them. My own life was a mess of notifications and deadlines that had no room for the very habits I was preaching. This is the framework I built. 8 core habits found in every blue zone on the planet. You move naturally, eat mostly plants, stay connected, act with a clear sense of purpose, sleep well, walk daily, reduce stress, and put family first. In places like Okinawa or Sardinia, these aren't forced choices or items on a to-do list. The environment dictates them. The habits are woven so deeply into the landscape that you have to go out of your way not to practice them. You see it in the way these women gather outside. Their social connection and physical movement aren't scheduled activities. They are the natural result of how their village is built. Intellectual knowledge of this framework means very little if your own environment is actively designed to oppose it. To see if these habits could actually take root in a modern life, I had to stop studying the map and start living inside it. Our world is built for the opposite of longevity. It is optimized for notifications, immediate deadlines, and the path of least resistance. Everything in a modern city is designed for convenience over tradition. I committed to a 30-day experiment, forcing all 8 Blue Zones habits into my overscheduled life simultaneously. No exceptions, no gradual introduction. I wanted to feel the full weight of the lifestyle all at once. I tracked consistency instead of perfection. If I missed a day, I simply picked the habit back up the next morning. This rule was the only thing that kept the experiment from collapsing under the weight of my own schedule. This wasn't an attempt to become a centenarian overnight. It was a test to see if an ancient framework could survive a direct collision with the deeply ingrained defaults of the 21st century. The first week produced intense friction. Every hour required a conscious decision to reject a modern convenience, and by day 4, the mental exhaustion of staying on track was as heavy as the physical transition. The struggle began with habit 1, move naturally. Most of us treat exercise as a checkbox, an isolated 60-minute gym session followed by 12 hours of total stillness at a desk. Longevity relies on the opposite, constant low-level activity. It's movement that is inseparable from your culture and your daily chores. I had to force this shift by turning my daily routine into a series of small physical tasks. I took calls standing up. I tackled neglected yard work. I paced while folding laundry. Each moment required a reminder of why I was doing this. The most uncomfortable realization came at the elevator. I watched the doors open and felt an automatic, mindless pull to step inside, even for a single flight of stairs. Natural movement demands a total deprogramming of our automatic reliance on convenience. It requires looking for ways to make life slightly more difficult rather than easier. Habit 2, eating mostly plants, is often misunderstood. The longest living communities are rarely strict vegetarians. They simply treat meat as an occasional side dish rather than a daily requirement. This is the shift. Plants and beans expand to fill the plate, and meat shrinks into the background. My own cooking routine was built entirely around the question, what meat am I making? Stripping that away left me staring at my pantry without a starting point. After a week of bland, uninspired bean dishes, I finally found a rotation of meals I genuinely liked. I had to learn how to cook for flavor, using only what was in the market stalls, rather than relying on meat as a crutch. Success in this habit only came when the plant-heavy choice stopped being a daily decision and became the new, automatic default in my kitchen. By day 30, the changes were subtle but steady. My digestion felt predictable, and the heavy, sluggish feeling that usually followed my meals had completely vanished. My body had physically adapted to the constant movement. Instead of dreading a workout, I felt a restless discomfort whenever I was forced to sit still for more than an hour. But the physical habits weren't the hardest part of the experiment. The real barrier was the mental drain of resisting the easy path every single day. The habit that actually anchored the entire month was the one I almost skipped, having a clearly stated sense of purpose. Purpose provides the psychological resilience needed to push through the daily friction.
When my schedule filled up and the convenience of the old defaults started to look tempting, having a clear why was the only thing that kept me standing at my desk or cooking beans instead of ordering takeout. Longevity is an ongoing fight against our addiction to convenience. It isn't a result of perfect discipline. It's a result of having a reason strong enough to choose the harder path. True health is achieved when you stop trying to hack your life with schedules. Instead, you intentionally weave movement, plants, and purpose back into the messy fabric of your everyday existence.
We cross off endless daily tasks on autopilot, entirely disconnected from whether any of that busy work actually matters. Today, we are taking 5 daily habits from the world's longest living cultures and distilling them into a practical 5-minute blueprint you can set up right now. Now, to build this framework alongside me, grab a physical notebook, a simple pen, and open your daily calendar app. This blueprint replaces the raw volume of completed tasks with a specific check against your core intent. Step 1 is drafting the purpose anchor. Open your notebook and write down a single, clear sentence detailing exactly why you get up every morning, drawing on the Okinawan concept of ikigai. Using this sentence to evaluate tasks creates a practical filter, separating core priorities from the noise of a standard to-do list. Stick it on your monitor. Seeing it daily shifts focus from what got done to whether you made progress toward that purpose. Step 2 is locking your sleep boundary. Look at your wake-up time. Count backward by exactly 8 hours, and physically block off that bedtime on your calendar app. Treat this block as a non-negotiable meeting. When the day runs long, this cannot be the first thing sacrificed. Staying up late to journal about intentionality is a trade-off that defeats the purpose. A defined purpose in the morning, a protected shutdown in the evening, create the structural boundaries required to manage the rest of your daylight hours. Step 3 is scheduling real connection. Pick one specific person right now and schedule a dedicated 5-minute block on tomorrow's calendar to reach out to them. There is a strict boundary for this habit. It must be a voice call, a video chat, or an in-person conversation. Passive social media scrolling and quick text exchanges do not count. You will likely feel resistance to making a phone call on a busy day. But almost every time you push through that friction, you will be glad you did within 2 minutes of hearing a real voice. Step 4 is blocking the terrain walk. Scan your calendar for a 20 to 30-minute gap and claim it for an outdoor walk. This is distinct from a standard gym workout. To mirror the daily physical engagement of places like Sardinia, you need to walk on varied outdoor terrain rather than a flat treadmill. True mental resets require this kind of active friction, forcing yourself out of the frictionless digital ecosystem and into the unpredictable physical world. Step 5 is programming your stress release. Drop a 15 to 20-minute block into your afternoon specifically for a guided breathing exercise or a short nap. There is a deep biological difference between merely tolerating high stress all day and actively counteracting it, much like the afternoon rests found in Ikaria. You will likely experience a cultural instinct that tells you daytime resting is lazy, leading to a sense of guilt when you stop working while the sun is still up. We have to dismantle the assumption that rest is a transactional reward you only earn by crossing enough items off your to-do list. Once you push through the initial discomfort of taking an unearned rest, these short breaks stabilize your afternoon energy and restore your patience for the hours ahead. Prioritizing rest as a required biological maintenance protocol provides the capacity needed to sustain an intentional life. Your framework is now set. You possess a written reason to wake up, a scheduled genuine connection, guaranteed physical movement, programmed rest, and a strict sleep boundary. If executing all 5 steps tomorrow causes anxiety, abandon the calendar blocks and commit exclusively to reading your 1-sentence purpose anchor every morning for 7 days. The blueprint is complete, and the burden has shifted from planning to action. Close this video and go execute day 1. Welcome back. I am absolutely thrilled for today's explainer because we are finally putting the very last piece into this massive longevity puzzle. If you've been with us, you know we've been systematically tearing down these sneaky little habits that quietly steal our health as we age. Well, today's the day we bring the whole shebang together. We're going to show you exactly how to fix them. Let's jump right in.
So I need you to be brutally honest with yourself for a second. Are you living in a constant state of low-grade stress? You know what I'm talking about, right? It's that incredibly relatable modern-day problem where your brain and your body literally never fully switch off. It's kind of like a background app, quietly draining your battery. Almost everybody deals with it, but man, very few folks actually realize just how much it's costing them on a biological level. Okay, let's dive into this. Mistake number 10, never actually resting. Now, to be crystal clear here, we aren't necessarily talking about some massive, dramatic burnout where you just hit a wall and collapse. No, we're talking about going through your daily life without a real, reliable recovery outlet. Our sources describe this perfectly as a baseline hum of stress. It's that low-level tension that just kind of sits with you day after day, year after year. And the reason this is so deeply, deeply corrosive over time, it's because it keeps your body's stress hormones, we're talking cortisol and adrenaline here, way, way higher than they were ever designed to be. Look, a little occasional stress, totally normal. Actually, it's pretty useful for getting things done. But chronic, unmanaged stress, that puts your sympathetic nervous system into permanent overdrive, and that actively stops your cells from repairing themselves. Now, what's really interesting, and honestly a bit alarming about this, is the compounding damage. When that stress just stays elevated, it hits fast forward on aging across multiple biological systems. Over the years, this chronic hum completely ravages your sleep architecture. It literally blocks you from hitting those deep, restorative sleep phases your brain desperately needs to sweep out the daily junk. It also drives up systemic inflammation, what researchers actually call inflammaging, which is tied to practically every chronic disease out there. It tanks your cognitive function. But here is the real kicker, that last point on the list. Constant stress compounds absolutely every other mistake we've talked about. Trying to fix your diet or exercise while running on fumes, it's like trying to swim upstream with a backpack full of rocks. It's the ultimate roadblock.
Let's just slow down for a second and take a collective breath here. The goal isn't to somehow eliminate all stress. Come on, that's literally impossible for anyone watching this. The real goal is building a genuine daily off switch to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. Listen, fake rest is doom scrolling your phone for half an hour. It might feel like you're chilling, but aggressively scrolling social media actually spikes your heart rate and feeds your brain this chaotic drip of dopamine and anxiety. A real break, that's taking a few minutes for deep breathing. It's getting outside. It's a short walk leaving your phone on the desk, or just getting lost in an absorbing hobby. The exact activity doesn't matter nearly as much as the fact that it is a real intentional pause. You gotta use it every single day, not just when you're already burned out. All right, so let's step back. Here's the full picture. All 10 mistakes summarized. Let's run through the whole list real quick. 1, treating exercise as optional. 2, treating sleep as flexible. 3, letting ultra-processed food become your default. 4, total ignorance of your own health numbers. 5, letting those close relationships quietly fade. 6, unbroken sitting for hours on end. 7, that brutal all-or-nothing mindset. 8, not learning anything genuinely new. 9, ignoring symptoms and just hoping they vanish. And 10, living in that constant low-grade stress with absolutely zero real recovery. Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. So what does this all mean? How on earth do you fix all 10? If you're sitting there feeling a slight wave of panic, maybe a little overwhelmed, looking at this massive mountain of changes, hey, that is completely understandable. It is a lot. So the crucial point here is that you need to prioritize for maximum impact. And this brilliantly illustrates the big takeaway from our sources. You absolutely do not need to fix all 10 of these this week. Actually, scratch that. Trying to fix all 10 right now? That's just mistake number 7, the all-or-nothing trap wearing a disguise. It's a guaranteed setup for failure. Look at the behavioral psychology. If you try to change just one habit, your chances of success sit right around 80%. But try changing 3 or more at once, that success rate literally plummets to near zero. No way. Instead, I want you to use this playbook. Step 1, pick the one single mistake that hit you the hardest while watching this explainer. Step 2, fix that one first. Channel every ounce of your energy right there. Step 3, let it become automatic. Get it locked in. And only then, step 4, come back to this list and pick your next target. Singular focus is your absolute superpower here. One step at a time. Now, if you're looking for the deeper dive into everything we've covered today, the full 6-pillar framework that these 10 mistakes connect back to, complete with the planners and trackers to knock them out one by one, that is all built right into the longevity blueprint. You'll find it linked down below if you want the complete system to guide you. And hey, if you found this explainer helpful, definitely hit subscribe. We are breaking down one pillar of healthy aging at a time every single week. No weird fads, no shady supplement pitches, just solid, structured information on what actually works for your body. So pull up that list in your mind's eye for a second. Which of these 10 mistakes are you going to conquer today?
Seriously, don't try to boil the ocean here. Just pick one. Start right there, take action, and I'll see